Hello everyone, this is Maryann here from Revealing Light Oracle, or what am I doing? Yes, I've got a Revealing Light Oracle and I'll talk card deck and I'll talk about that after the reading. But first of all, I just want to introduce myself. Maryann here from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. It's actually been I've had a really good rest, and so yeah, it's been absolutely lovely. First of all, welcome to the new subscribers. I do a variety of readings here, from astrology to predictions, global events, and also I look at democracy in all around the world, and also in the US as well. And I support democracy, basically. That's the way. Well, it's an imperfect system, obviously, but it's the best that we've got at this time, unless, of course, you would prefer a dictatorship, which, of course, none of us would. Well, no one on this channel anyway. So welcome to my new subscribers. You'll get monthly tarot scopes. I keep saying I want to introduce mid-month tarot scopes, where I would probably do them all in the one hit, and I will hopefully get to that in the new year. And I also want to do a whole lot more astrology. So we've got some pretty powerful eclipses coming up this year, particularly the one on April 8th I want to look at. Also want to look at Pluto Pluto into Aquarius in January of this year. So lots of things that we do here. So welcome to the new subscribers. To those existing subscribers and viewers, thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and your loyalty to me. I really do. I am grateful for that. And for those that sent me a little bit of a present over Christmas in the form of a gift, thank you so much for that. That really was a wonderful surprise. So how was your Christmas? Let's get on with it. How was your Christmas? Mine was very relaxing, as was my New Year. Unfortunately, one of our dogs, little Rocky, ate a bone, almost holus bolus, and was very sick in vet hospital on Christmas night. You can see the light flickering from the white cockatoos that are going past. One of my favourite birds. This is very much the bird is my totem, if you like, and I absolutely love my birds, and I'm lucky enough to have lots of them around me, along with a couple of pet magpies that we look after as well. Okay, so what do I want to do today? Most of you will have seen my global predictions for 2024. They were quite interesting in themselves. I picked up an earthquake. Well, actually I kept going like that. I thought that was snow dropping some kind of avalanche after an earthquake. In hindsight, that of course was the shifting of the tectonic plates, and of course the tsunami in Japan. Also picked up that a Iranian general would become very important or notorious, or something around an Iranian general in the first 3 months of the year, or early New Year. No later than the first 3 months of the year. And of course we now know there was that bombing in Iran at the site of anniversary morning, I guess, of the slain Iranian general. The jury's still out on who did that. Of course, ISIS has claimed responsibility for that, but there are inconsistencies in the narratives. And when it comes to the Middle East, we've had a militia, or Hezbollah, Iranian-backed militia in Iraq, really opposing US troops, and of course the US struck back. It is a powder keg. I'm not going to go over my Middle Eastern predictions. You can find them in my global predictions if you want to chase them down. But after I did that, I actually became unwell the day after Boxing Day. with something very close to pneumonia, the doctors said. And of course, when I did my annual predictions, I was actually not firing on all 4 cylinders. But anyways, thus is my dedication to this channel. I'm much rested and much recovered now, so I can see the orbs are around me, and that's always good for me. So, and good for viewers that look for the orbs. You will see them often in my videos. So I had a few questions about, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Okay, well, I'm recovered enough to tackle them today. Though we will look at Ukraine in greater detail, though I did look at the war between Ukraine and Russia in the global prediction. Certainly Russia, what was going on inside Russia, which of course is a good determinant on Ukraine. And for all my Ukrainian readings, including in the last month or so, please go back and have a look at those. We had questions around Canada, what's happening for Canada, for my Canada subscribers. I did actually cover Australia for my Australian subscribers. I said we're stable, and it is in the Asia Pacific, not the Indo-Pacific, the Asia Pacific region, where the government of the day is working hard to build bridges and also increase trade between that region. And so there's a lot of stability for Australia that I see there in relation to that Asia Pacific region. But we'll look at Canada. Someone asked me about the UK Reform Party, which was established by the, Dorian Gray character, Nigel Farage, whether or not they would make it they never ever had a foothold, but they certainly led the Brexit arguments. We'll look at, if I've got time, whether or not they become more prominent. There probably will be an election now in August 2024. Go back to my prediction where I thought that Labor would take that along with the Liberal Democrats, possibly some sort of coalition forming. It won't be a Tory victory. Many of you have asked about Taiwan. I don't think China's going to move on Taiwan in 2024, but we'll check that. And also South Africa, whether the ANC or the Democratic Alliance coalition, they will also have general elections in 2024. I really want to look at climate and what we can expect here. Of course, very obvious that we're going to be having these increased natural disaster events. In fact, we have electrical storms here most days. In summer, it's become almost like a tropical climate where I am, which is absolutely crazy for this region that I live in. Also, BRICS. BRICS has taken on, this is the alternative geopolitical, I guess, trade organisation set up by China and with Russia as well. Members of BRICS want to establish their own currency in opposition to the US dollar as a global currency. So we have India in BRICS, Russia, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, South Africa, Iran, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. They've just taken on the 5 new members. So there was 5, now there's 10 in BRICS. We'll just take a look at where they're going in 2024. But let's get started with Ukraine. Let's tune in. So the 2 decks I'm going to be using, Anna Kay Tarot, which of course I was going to use in the last reading, predictions, and the Animal Tarot. So by way of a fairly long introduction and just a chit chat and a catch up, that's me. Welcome to the channel, and don't forget to like and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're watching this. Okay, Ukraine. So just a little bit about myself, my skills, if you like, or my abilities. Very strong in the clairvoyant area, clairaudient, and clairsentient. Clairaudient is hearing. I hear things, words, phrases coming in via my right eye. My clairvoyance, like pictures unfolding in my third eye. And clairsentience is just a knowing. I use the crystal ball and also a quartz ball in my tarot scopes. That's called scrying. Again, that's a way of opening up the third eye and allowing those clairs, as we call them, to come forward. I do a lot of that, as well as tarot and astrology in my readings, and then I'll also channel. So my mediumship can be quite accurate, and so I try and bring people through when I feel that I've got something important to add. So I don't do it often. Anyway, all right, let's get going here. Let's get going. I also need to tell you I don't do personal readings at this time. I'm too busy reading for the collective, which is going through some things, I might add. Okay, Ukraine, what can I see coming up for Ukraine in 2024? Can you show me what's coming up for Ukraine in 2024? Definitely decisions based on what they can and what they can't do, what they've got and what they haven't got. I'm also seeing someone holding a handful of weaponry. Now, I do know they're going into manufacturing their own weapons, but I do feel that some country is going to be supplying them with what I would just call artillery, rifles, ammunition. It'll take time for them to start their own manufacturing. What else is coming in? Those rocket things. So they will be those rocket things, the smaller rockets. Okay, so they will be getting more deliveries. Well, that'll be announced. So I'm hearing maybe in the first part of the year, but also October at the end of, going toward the end of the year here, or they may announce in October some of their manufacturing goals have been achieved. All right, show me what else. Okay, so we've got, it's almost like trench warfare now. It's like they're fairly dug in. A few, probably about a month ago, I talked about eventually coming to the table with a new regime in Russia and talking a peace deal. Ukraine shouldn't have to cede any territory, which would mean that Russia would pull back to those pre-war boundaries, and of course Crimea. I'm not sure what will happen with Crimea. All right, let's have a look at where they can get to in 2024. I think Russian people are over this. I think Ukrainians are tired, and it'd be nice to see a good outcome here. All right, so what are we seeing? What about Vladimir Zelensky? What can I see for him? What can I see? See for Vladimir Zelensky. I think it's like the keeper of the purse. So I'm seeing perhaps more women in the Ukrainian parliament, perhaps a new finance. It's got something to do with their treasury and finance. And perhaps a woman leader coming through there. Zelensky does need to have people come through and take some of the burden from him. I see that he needs to be freed up in a way to be the statesperson, and some of government administration, particularly around finance and treasury. They might announce some new moves there, and we could see a woman take that role. So it's not a lot of progress in 2024. It's almost like the war's dug in. But I do believe that post-Putin, and yes, I do believe Putin will either be forced to step down or assassinated. And it takes time for my predictions to come through. They're not always in the time that you expect them to be. They're in divine timing. I do see Russia and Ukraine sitting down post Putin, and this war finally finishing. But for this year, steady progress, if I can just put it like that, or it's like the Knight of Pentacles. It's like they're very consistent in what they do, with some armaments and weaponry coming through to them, probably at the beginning of this year, and October seems to be a key month there as well. All right, so let's have a look at Canada. I'm just going to do a spread for Canada. They don't have elections until next year. Justin Trudeau, he's been a fairly long-term presence in Canada now. I think he's matured a lot. I think that it's also taken a lot out of him. I did see the rise of a woman politician, and I think that's already occurred. If she's deputy, someone like that could actually be positioned to take over from him. I don't know that he will stand again, but then it's like the baptism of fire, and you know he's very committed to Canada. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's still there. But let's see. Will Justin Trudeau stand again for election in 2025? Will Justin Trudeau stand? Oh, he's yeah. This has taken a huge toll. I know he's married. His marriage is broken up, but I'm just seeing him isolated, sitting alone in a chair by a window. It's cost a lot. It's like it's imprisoned him. That's the impression that I'm getting. Will Justin Trudeau, perhaps just 4 cards or a cut down Celtic cross. Will Justin Trudeau stand for re-election in 2025? Okay, so we get here the Emperor control the President, and then we get the Death card. Now, the Death card is not death. It speaks to an ending here. And so it just so signifier cards would tell me he probably won't. The Page of Cups is at the foundation, his children, his emotional life as well. This can also be surprises, being taken by surprise, we being taken by surprise. Now we get the 6 of Pentacles in the past, giving and receiving help. But that's in the past. We get the 8 of Pentacles, skill and the apprenticeship. Perhaps he's training up somebody to take over. And we get strength here, strength in the near future. There he is at the window, fairly isolated, the King of Cups, and the loss that has taken from him emotionally. It's an emotional toll. The 4 of Rods in the hopes and fears. His home and his children, he feels he's paid a high price there. And then we get the Queen of Pentacles, stability. There's the woman, the Empress. I think it's in 2025. It's the era of the woman. And I do feel that, yeah, he could also announce as well some kind of new relationship. He's been disappointed in love. He's, it's his emotional toll here. We could see a woman Prime Minister of Canada next. That's what I'm going to say there. All right, let's have a look at, do we have to? Nigel Farage. No, let's leave him till last, and if we run out of time, well and good. Okay, Taiwan. What's happening for Taiwan? China, of course, told Biden they've got their sights on it. So we get the 3 of Rods. Interesting, over the seas, waiting for one ship to come in. It is a question of timing. It's whether or not they move to absorb Taiwan, an independent democracy, into their own, into China. It is a question of time. Certainly, Xi Jinping sees this as it would be a victory for him. But I don't think they don't want war with the US. So will Xi Jinping make a move toward Taiwan in 2024? Will Jinping make a move toward Taiwan? They certainly have their sights set on something, but it's a longer term goal here. Will Jinping make a move toward... Are they doing tunnels under the sea to Taiwan? Goodness. 9 of Rods. Okay, so boundaries and the Magician manifestation. So they've been thwarted thus far, but it's that Magician hasn't given up, has he? So the 5 of Rods is a very good card at the foundation of the reading. It's really a tug of war. Who's stronger, me or the not me, Jinping, China or the US? It's that kind of battle. The Ace of Swords in the past. So there's a lot of clarity here, a lot of clarity coming forward and around this longer term. The Sun, longer term plan. So we have here the Sun, very much associated with China, that rising sun. They definitely have plans. And then we get the Devil card, yeah. So, clarified by home. They're not going to give up on Taiwan at all. They are isolated from the West in their plans. And they understand that it's a balancing act. And then we get, yeah. So, victory and heartache, 3 of Swords, and commitments and contracts. They're going to find a different... They definitely want Taiwan. They're not going to give up there. It's a longer term plan. I don't think they're going to do that. But we get in 2024, we get the end of a partnership. The end of a partnership here. And then some kind of element of surprise. 6 of Swords. They, I don't think they will in 2024. They've had to give up their plans. They probably would have liked to have done that a year or two ago, but the world sent signals that they wouldn't put up with that. There seems to be an end of a partnership here and a positioning for a long-range plan to absorb Taiwan into China. Not quite yet, though. Not quite yet. Not quite next year. There's that planning and strategy. I think this leads me to my BRICS question, which is that alliance between Russia, China, India, Egypt, Ethiopia, South Africa, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. This is about building up more of that to insulate. We'll wait till we get to the BRICS question. Let's look at South Africa. The ANC, of course, has ruled since the end of apartheid. That's Nelson Mandela's, the great late Nelson Mandela's party. There's been accusations of cronyism and corruption against the ANC over the decades since then. The Democratic Alliance Coalition is the opposition, the recognised opposition party, and they've formed coalitions with many of the other smaller parties. Is it enough to unseat the ANC? Let's take a look. The African National Congress in South Africa and the Democratic Alliance Coalition of Parties. Is the ANC going to be returned to power in 2024? Is the African National Congress going to be returned to power in 2024? The Ace of Rods are new starts, and then we get loss. So a plan coming to fruition, but a loss here. They're the two signifier cards. Interesting. New starts here. The Fool card is at the foundation of the reading. Something new is going to occur now. Let's see where we're going to go with this. The Empress, abundance. I think perhaps South Africa expected more abundance from their government. There's something around that abundance has been in the past, basically. Now we get movement forward with the Knight of Rods. It's interesting because that's what I was seeing clairvoyantly, movement forward. Interesting. The Sun card, we get illumination. I mean, if I was reading these strictly as yes cards, I'd have to say there are more yes cards on the table than no. We have the Six of Rods. I ask, will they be returned to power? Victory and justice here. Victory and justice. Justice in the environment. Just because you get a lot of yes cards, you have to follow the narrative of that is being unfolding. Hopes and fears, we get hope, literally hope, the star. The outcome is the Two of Rods, something coming to fruition in time. It's not a clear-cut victory for the ANC. And then we get the Ace of Pentacles, which again is this new start. People want more from their government. They want more prosperity. It's not riches for all, that's not it. But they want more opportunity to live well, not well, that's not the right word. This I don't think they are. I don't Ten of Swords is downfall. And the Two of Pentacles. It's not a clear-cut victory for the oppositions, but I think they're going to have to work out a way where you kind of get a coalition of parties to govern. And I don't see the ANC as being dominant, but yet I don't see the Democratic Alliance coalition of parties. What is clear here is people want a new start. And so based on that, I don't think the ANC is going to be running the country. I think if they have, I don't see them being put out completely. I see that perhaps you might have some ANC ministers, but I don't see the ANC in total control after the South African elections. So there you have it. All right. I want to look at climate change. You know, it's earthquakes, fires, no matter changing climate, and then the science, always warning us that we're approaching a tipping point. I've read on climate change for as long as I've been doing this, and as far as I'm concerned, my first reading on climate change was the most accurate 5 years ago. And I've seen everything unfold as we have been warned, particularly the very, very destructive floods, houses underwater, cars underwater, the earthquakes. I did see some kind of avalanche as well. And of course the terrible fires, the fire and the fury. All right, so let's take a look. I'm just going to ask, what can you show me about climate change? Drawing board, people working hard on the science, something to do with the sun, testing things, something to do with the sun. I hope this is not man-made manipulation of the climate, or trying to fix things that we've destroyed through some kind of artificial means. But I do see AI perhaps becoming more predictive, more finer tunes, the science, the computer and the scientist. So more accurate predictions of where the climate is changing and how quick. So a narrowing down of our ability to predict climate disasters is what we're likely to see in 2024, and some pretty good announcements of that kind of breakthrough coming as well in 2024, which would fit with the astrology. Okay, show me climate change. What can we expect from climate change in 2024? Somebody is going down a crater of a volcano, perhaps an extinct one, looking for, again, methods of data. It's all about data collection. Show me climate change in 2024. undersea earthquakes as well. Okay, obviously, the Chariot, climate change accelerating, and then facing the truth. So really, again, these are sort of cards I was drawing 5 years ago, and every single reading I draw, I get these same cards: acceleration and facing the truth, but also gaining greater clarity around that. Because it is affecting people's homes and families and livelihoods. It's come down to that granular level. The Knight of Pentacles in the past, the consistency in the climate has gone. We're unlikely to find that. This is about pushing back on the truth, fighting the truth, trying to change the truth for whatever, monetary agendas there are. It is way past decision time, the Two of Swords. And we're going to have to make those decisions in 2024. Governments everywhere are going to have to make those decisions. And we have the Empress card, which is abundance, but also Russia. And so we could see some climate change events in Russia as well. But many are worried and anxious, and I don't want to play into that. There needs to be less of the fear at the macro, and coming right down and living intentionally within yourself, because we do fear this. The tower is in the hopes and fears, the breaking down. It's also electrical storms, which is what we're getting here, and electrical storms starting fires. And so we're going to see that wherever your summer is coming up, I would assume in the northern hemisphere, in the US, is Canada coming also. So it's going to be that kind of season. And we just have so much deception. That's the outcome card, the Seven of Swords. It's lies and deceit. And then we get the having something coming to fruition in time. And the Three of Rods, having to make decisions, not based on finances. But what I'm seeing here is those that are denying are trying to redo the narrative, which doesn't go with the science. What it be for their own agendas. But we get justice here. Now with the Ace of Swords as one of the signifier cards, you can't spin that climate change is not happening, that it's not man-made. You can't do it. And we get new starts after events that do actually claim lives, and progress being made in many ways. But it does take the leaders of countries to step up and do what they need to do, come up with, or follow through. They've already come up, but follow through with plans. So we're going to get more science data predicting natural disasters. And of course, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? To put to the leaders. We can predict when that next tsunami is going to occur, or when that next flood, or when that next... We can predict that. And so once we get into the prediction phases, it's harder for those that would deny the climate is changing. It's harder for them to win the narrative, and then we start to get progress. Okay, so last question is BRICS. This India, Russia, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, South Africa, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Let's have a look at BRICS. What is their aim? Well, we know what their aim is, but let's see what the cards are going to... Whoa! Control. That's what I heard. And total control at that. Okay, so BRICS. Now, these nations, India and China, supply a lot of the labour, manufacturing labour, and people power, if you like, that actually make things for the Western world, because we've gotten out of manufacturing. All right, so what is the aim of BRICS? What is the aim of BRICS? Russia is currently president at this time. Yeah, strength. And we also get balance, moderation, interesting cards to moderate the balance of power, to share the balance of power. And then we get the Eight of Swords here. Why? Because they are actually fearful, rightly or wrongly, they are fearful. And so that's one of the, I guess, intentions that drives BRICS. We have to somehow pull back this balance from the US and the EU and the UK. We have to somehow balance the scales here for ourselves. The Page of Swords, it started out in a smaller way, but it is growing in strength, of course. Illusion and delusion, interesting, right and wrong choices. We all get to make those, regardless of whatever country that you live in. Your governments get to make choices. But there's a Seven of Cups in the sky, what is crowning this reading. There is some illusionary purpose behind BRICS that we're not seeing. The Queen of Rods moves forward. She's confident. She has a plan. She has charisma. The Wheel of Fortune in the present, turning the Wheel of Fortune toward in their favour. But we get tug-of-wars, politics, partisanship, competitiveness. Again, the King of Pentacles in the hopes and fears. This is an agenda about money and trade. It's interesting. I was talking about climate change with the Arab countries there. Going to be very much in their interests to try and change that narrative on climate change, and then to do so through BRICS. King of Swords, definitely trying to change a plan or a strategy, chess move, to change the balance of power globally. We get here the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help, helping others as well, and this could be the currency. And we get the Six of Swords, increasing their membership. But there's a disappointment here for BRICS as well. Grand aims. We get the Sun card. Grand aims that perhaps, grand agendas that perhaps aren't in keeping with where the world's heading to. So some of what they want is not going to transpire. It's not going to be realised. However, their aim is to get stronger. All right, and it is about money. It's about convincing more and more membership, trading. They will start off helping certain countries, but the real aim, of course, is to strengthen and make money for themselves, accumulate power and wealth, which is the aim of, let's face it, of the Western world as well. But it is a competitive thing. It is a competitive thing to traditional. I just put traditional alliances in the West. But there's a nefariousness there at the base of this, and a lot of what they want is not going to be realised. All right, now I have the Animal Tarot. I just want to close off this reading. I just want to have a look at what are the main messages that we need to know right now as we move into 2024 with our hopes and our dreams. What are the main messages that we need to know? Main messages that we need to know. Page of Swords with my favourite bird, or one of my favourite birds, I should say. Page of Swords, speaking, moving forward, taking small steps toward progress. And the Knight of Swords, progress only comes, and this is what people fail to realise with the truth, They feel that that Seven of Cups energy will be enough. Fool me once, fool me twice. But the truth is emerging, and the world will go the way that the world wants to go. It's not in a regressive concentration of power anymore. Things are changing. The Knight of Swords. The Star card. Don't give up your hope. The Star card. That we can work this out. There is progress, however small that it seems, being made. The Queen of Wands here. Much is around the rise, and I've said, I think I predicted this a couple of years ago, the rise of the feminine. We're just going to see how powerful that is in the US elections in 2024. The power of the feminine. Already established and consolidating right now. The Six of Swords, the victories here. The Six of Swords. This is around trouble enough, but then moving away from trouble. And particularly with the Middle East, even though I was concerned that Israel would invade Lebanon. Unfortunately, I said it was a high possibility. There would be a window of opportunity to turn back from a larger scale of war here. And we have Six of Swords moving out of troubled waters. Interestingly enough, these swords are piercing this fish, are piercing, and of course we get the Knight of Swords facing the truth. Facing the truth. The Magician carries the sword, the rod, the cup, or the flower in this case. No, the rod. And we get manifestation. Manifestation. The truth brings forward the clarity to establish the new. To establish the new. We get the Knight of Wands. Rapid progress. Rapid progress, the Knight of Wands. Even though we can't see it right now. And the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands. Small and steady progress. Sorry, that was the Page of Swords. Looked a bit like a wand. Facing the truth. Page and Knight. Six of Swords. This is a Magician. This is a lot about facing the truth here. We're going to see a lot of it in 2024. The hopes and the fears. I would say some fear the truth. But many of us welcome it. However palatable or unpalatable it is. The Ace of Swords. There is nothing stronger than the truth. Nothing stronger than the truth. When the scales fall from the eyes, you will know the truth. You will know the truth. That's how we get to the truth. And the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so the Seven of Pentacles is about having to redirect. It's around the harvest not exactly coming in, but there is another option there, and so you choose again, and you go forward, and you plan again with the plan B, even though plan A hasn't come to fruition. You go on and you plan with strategy. The King of Swords, solid planning and strategy. You go on again and you go on to the new, the Ace of Wands. So I do see, even though that sword of truth is piercing us all at this time, it leaves us to perhaps do things differently, in small ways to begin with, larger ways. Progress is never held back. Four of Swords, rest, wounded in battle. The Fool card, these are underlying energies, a mix of energies here, war, leading to new starts. The Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups again, illusion, piercing the veil of illusion and delusion. Even alliances changing. I talked about that in my global predictions, that we would have to do things in a different way because some of our values and beliefs are being challenged, and that's a good thing. The Ten of Pentacles, and the Chariot and the Sun. Ah, yes, and the world major endings of cycles. This is Pluto moving into Capricorn, and things are changing dramatically at this time. I'll look at the astrology of Pluto back into Capricorn a bit, well, in the next week or so. But that's it for now. I'm not fully back in the chair, so to speak, but I'm here from time to time, and I will catch you again. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me.